Pregame.com.
Pregame.tv, Steve Fezzik, Bryan Leonard breaking down football action. We are without Vegas Runner, who's at the final table in a local poker tournament. We are wishing you good luck, VR. Go get it. And we're missing your UFC write-up. Maybe you can post something in the pregame forums. Bryan Leonard, Thursday night, big game in the Conference USA.
VR chooses money over us. Lack of priorities right there.
Gotta win, baby. Just win.
You know, Conference USA is just similar to the MAC playing these early week games. Just because it's on TV, people want to bet it.
The Johnny Manziel. Is this the money or is this the sig? What was he doing there?
I don't know, and I don't care. All I care about is if the guy's on the football field or not.
He's my favorite player. I love Johnny Manziel.
No.
He's someone. I was a ticket writer said to me, boy, we were talking about him, and he says, boy, I wouldn't want to be him. And I said,
I would.
Yeah, I would want to be Johnny Manziel. But no Johnny football here. What do we have here? Florida Atlantic against Ruffin McNeil's ECU. Florida Atlantic coach, of course, is Mr. Carl Pelini. I think of drinking a peach Bellini. I don't know too much about this team, but I did watch them against Miami week 1. Have you done? You probably followed ECU quite a bit.
Yeah, two of the things I look for in this Conference USA. I mean, I got to point out, Florida Atlantic's moving up from the Sun Belt to East Carolina or to Conference USA.
Like soccer, new league.
Well, and a lot of people think they're moving up to a tougher league. I'm not so sure about that. The Sun Belt and East Carolina, or excuse me, why do you keep calling them the East Carolina? Sun Belt and the Conference USA, to me, are very similar. You got two conferences, play a lot of offense. Two conferences, don't play any defense. Two conferences, you don't want to bet the favorite. Two conferences, the underdog wins straight up a whole lot. So when I'm looking at this game, you got both teams last year, they allowed 30 points per game defensive. Neither team has a very good defense, but they returned 9 returning starters. So a lot of people like to work off of returning starters. They go, oh, 9 returning starters for both these teams.
9 poor returning starters.
9 poor returning starters, and that's the point I'm trying to make here. So you got two teams coming into this, and the total is in a situation right now. You know the public is being on national TV. Where's the public going to bet on this game? Over the total. So you're watching this early. We got this up on Tuesday. It's probably a good idea, even if you don't have an opinion on this game, to play over the total, because you can always buy back the other way.
Especially here in Square City, Las Vegas. And everyone is going to be out betting on the New England, on the Baltimore game against Denver. That starts at 5:30. This is at 4:30. So you could see, get to the book a little early.
I have a parlay.
Get down on the parlay, over to over, and check it all out. One thing I wanted to ask you that I like about ECU is that you've got the air raid offense, and Ruffin McNeil, he's got the the roots with the going for it on 4th down. He understands. He's an older coach, but he gets it. Riverboat gambler. He doesn't kick field goals. He goes ahead and goes for it. And I really, really like that in a coach. And we saw that actually this past week when SMU got annihilated by Texas Tech. And you saw Kingsbury go ahead and have the same attitude. And I love coaches that do that.
When you have, and you mentioned Texas Tech and East Carolina, these are coaches that realize their best position on the team is their offense. The defenses are weak. The offenses are good. So if you've got a dominant offense, you're willing to take those kind of chances. Now, if you're a conservative coach, you're something like a Florida, where you know the Florida's defense is better than their offense is. They punt. They don't make these. Things that we like to talk about. The right calls, because their defense is the better.
Sure. And when you take a look at Florida Atlantic last week, they played Miami of Florida. Somewhat of a surprising, lower scoring game. But I watched that game. Miami was very vanilla. They're getting ready for their big game this week against Florida, and they had 2 wide receivers drop wide open passes for touchdowns. So it was a very misleading final score. Miami could have hung any number they wanted to put on there. They didn't want to show too much. And so I think Florida Atlantic's defense is getting some credit for that, when I think it was just absolutely Miami of Florida going into a shell. So I certainly think that their defense is extremely vulnerable. And ECU, I went ahead and looked at their points scored when they got into the teeth of their Conference USA schedule end of last year. Let me read these.
Yep.
These totals: 77, 84, 76, 51, 124 against Marshall, and 77. And what I like about that is that they're not losing those games either. They're winning, a little more than they're losing. So it's not like they feel they got to change anything. They've been successful. Ruffin McNeil's won half his games since he's been there, 19-19 with this style. Let the offense win the game and have the defense, take some risks, try to get some turnovers. And I think I was shocked when the total came that low at 54 because you can see where I'm going on this game, right?
Yeah, and just want to point out the Marshall game did go to overtime, but you talked about how East Carolina does at home. They're 7-1 against the spread at home the last 2 years against divisional opponents. So he takes these games very seriously. But I know where you're going on this, and I like it also. And I just want people to get ahead of this because as the general public sees that, they're going to want to play the over, national televised game. Get it now. And
one thing I did want to mention, too, is that there's always the concern early in the week, Thursday, that those games tend to be maybe a little bit lower scoring. But I think that's more of a middle-of-the-year type of thing, where teams don't have enough time to prepare and they come in. Here's a situation. You look at Florida Atlantic. They knew they weren't going to beat Miami of Florida, so that wasn't a game where they really had to go ahead and prepare to win. Here's the game that they feel like got a better chance, at least to go ahead and do it. So I'm willing to break from the normal rule where I don't like to play Thursday nights to go over, but in this case, I'm willing to do it, especially from what I saw. Do you think that scoring is just going to keep increasing in college football for the next 5 years?
If teams who run that hurry-up offense, they have a lot of plays, if they have success, like Oregon. Oregon started it all. Oregon's one of the nation's top
Copycat
teams.
League.
Copycat league. People say, you know what? People don't go to Oregon for football, and all of a sudden Oregon's really good now.
Huge.
I think if you've got a weak defense, you really want to speed it up because it doesn't matter. The other team's going to score on you anyway, and maybe their offense will get tired. If you have a very good defense, I'm not sure speeding it up will help because then you're taking away your best strength, which is your defense, and the kids are going to get tired.
Yeah, and by the way, Oregon State lost to one of these hurry-up offenses this past week to Eastern Washington. So what's Oregon going to do to Oregon State when they play later on in the year? Maybe it'd be pelting rain and snow, and that'll help them out. Let me make this one official if I can. One college football best bet here, free play for Thursday. I am on the over. I think it's going to go up. Talked to some of my totals experts. They certainly made the game higher. So let's go ahead and take any ECU game lined at 54. We're going to play over the total. Watch this game go higher and higher. And also another thing, these are the sort of teams that don't get a chance to play on national TV very much at all. So this is a game that got circled. You're going to kick that ball 6 yards in the end zone. Normally they take a knee. Here's a situation. Hey, I know everyone from back home's watching. I'm going to go ahead and try to make the play. That certainly helps as well. Same thing with the defensive secondary. They go for the pick six, go for the risky play. You see that again and again on these Sunday night and Monday night games in college and even in the NFL where players are all trying to make that great play. I like the over. I think it's a solid play.
I agree.
Very good. We went ahead and broke down our first college football game, but we're here to talk the NFL. The NFL is kicking off this weekend. We're beyond excited. We've got two best bets in the NFL on free plays, and Bryan Leonard has a season win play on his Cleveland Browns. Is it going to be an up or a down? Stay tuned. Pregame.tv.